have the top 10 weapons rooms in the NFL. So that's including tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, not quarterbacks. It's a little bit separate of a list. There'd be some shakeup if we were including quarterbacks. Just weapons, top 10, entire NFL, and we'll follow that up with some sports news. But without further ado, let's get into our list. For those who are new to the show, we always start at 10, go to 1, starting at number 10, the Buffalo Bills. Now, I know a lot of people would say this is a little bit low, but running back's a weak spot for them. I do like that they got Dalton Kincaid, but tight end overall, Dawson Knox is a decent tight end. Feels more like a 2 than a 1 to me as a tight end. The production is a little bit lacking from that area. And outside of Diggs, I don't think there's a ton of reliable options. Gabe Davis is a little bit hit and miss. When he's on, this weapon room could be top 5. But that's about every other week, if not every third week. So the only real dependable one I'm getting is Stephon Diggs. Ton of other talent around them, not quite as dependable. That's why they're not a little bit higher. But at the end of the day, like I said, every other game, you're getting a dynamic weapons room, and you're always getting a really, really nice number 1 receiver in Stephon Diggs. So that lands him at number 10.
Well, that's what we said. It's consistency, and is it proven? And that's why a team that's not on this list, I'll spoil it now, the Jets, they're probably rated 11. That's the last team that we were kind of debating about between Buffalo or New York. It's not proven. It's not proven whatsoever. And that's also the reason why Buffalo is further down the list, because the consistency is not there.
Right, because we think Breece Hall's a better running back than anybody that Buffalo has.
Yes.
I like their depth. I love Garrett Wilson as their wide receiver 1. But we haven't seen him prove it as wide receiver 1 consistently. I mean, it's only his second year.
Not like Stephon Diggs.
And to be fair, that might not be all his fault. I mean, he is Zach Wilson and Mike White throwing to him last year. So we'll see how he looks with Aaron Rodgers. You contact me mid-season, who knows? Maybe it's the Jets instead of the Bills.
Sure.
Number 9 here, let's go with the Jags. So first of all, Evan Ingram is a really high-end tight end one. I like Travis Etienne as the running back.
Absolutely.
And now you get Calvin Ridley as a wide receiver to go along with, Zay Jones and Christian Kirk. Those are really nice top 3. So the Jags, they even have, no, they don't even think they have Zay Jones anymore. Maybe I'm tripping. I know they have Christian Kirk. No, I do think they have Zay Jones.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know. I'm tripping. But either way, even their top 2, Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley, is a pretty dynamic 1-2 punch. And I think consistency as a whole here. Ridley, we've seen him do it. Right? I know he took a year off, but we've seen him do it before. Christian Kirk, paid more like a 1, but a really high-end number 2 receiver. ETN is a really, really solid back. Very good out of the backfield, which is what you want to be able to support a young quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. And Evan Ingram is almost wide receiver-like. That's how good he is at the tight end position.
100% agree there.
Again, still young. A little bit inconsistent as whether or not higher. And we need to see if Calvin Ridley can still be a number 1 like he was in Atlanta.
Sure.
Number 8 is going to surprise a lot of people. Let's go with the Kansas City Chiefs here. Now, people are like, 8, that seems low. Outside of Travis Kelce, they do not have a ton of top-end talent. I mean, Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney are number 1 and 2 receivers.
Yeah.
I like both of them as players. They're more like 2s and 3s, not 1s and 2s.
Right. But Patrick Mahomes elevates them up to where they look like 1s and 2s. But
we're not counting Patrick Mahomes.
We're not factoring in quarterbacks into the weapons room.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the running back Pacheco, the late-round pick. He's a pretty good running back. But, again, outside of Travis Kelce, they do not have a ton of top-end talent.
Yeah.
Dying over here. All right.
Good.
Okay, the Chargers at 7. Love Keenan Allen. Love Mike Williams. They drafted a guy. Tight end's a little bit Running back, they get Eckler back. That's fantastic. That's a really nice room.
Yeah, it is. And plus, they're on the come up now. They're starting to do things the right way, and you're finally starting to see steps in the right direction from the Chargers and all their weapons.
Dying over here. Okay, Minnesota at number 6. Look, they draft Jordan Addison, so now you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, 2 of the cleanest route runners in the league. Jordan Addison's going to walk in day 1 and be a top 5 to 10 route runner. He's that good.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook's a really good back. Alexander Madison's probably the best backup running back in the league.
Loaded. They're loaded.
TJ Hawkinson at tight end. That's a really, really good room right there. Again, without a proven number 2, I can't elevate them any higher, and Dalvin Cook has had some injury problems. That's why they're not a little bit higher. But again, if Addison can be 900 yards and 7 touchdowns as a rookie, they're automatically probably a top 5 offense as opposed to close on the outside looking in at 6.
Oh yeah, and I think this is one of those rooms with a better quarterback. This team would be So much better. And you're going to see this as we go up the list, too. There are some extremely good weapons rooms that are really just missing that key piece.
The next two, really. The next two and even number one. So the next one here is Seattle at number 5. Look, Tyler Lockett as a quick, almost gadget-style receiver that is shifty, smaller, really good at route running, right? Yeah. And then you have DK Metcalf, who's a burner down the field, really nice at the jump ball, big target, catch radius, strong hands. So those two complement each other really well. And then you add one of the top slot guys available in Jackson Smith and Jigba in the draft. Yeah. Unbelievable. I really liked Kenneth Walker as a rookie. And I think Zach Charbonnet, the rookie out of UCLA who they just drafted this year, is a steal, a home run of a pick, 2 good backs, 3 good receivers. Tight end Noah Fant is, I think, a little bit overrated, but still a really nice B to B plus tight end.
Competent. Very
Probably
competent.
Top 10, closer to 10 than 1, but still a good tight end. Okay, number 4, Miami. The 2 fastest. I mean, that's the fastest offense in the league, probably.
I would say so.
I mean, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. You lose Gesicki, but that's fine. They have a couple decent tight ends. I'm not super worried about that. It's a very tight end-friendly system.
Yeah.
So they'll fit a guy in there nicely. And then what do they have, like 5 good backs? Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert. I mean, the list goes on. You can just
swap guys in and out. You can hit them with fresh
Myles Gaskin. Yeah. I mean, just 5 good backs. 2 good receivers, the fastest offense in the league. And I think, although I don't know if we were including coaching in this in a sense, but the fact that the scheme fits so perfectly for their personnel elevates everybody that gets into that system.
Yeah.
So that's a factor that you have to weigh, even though we're not technically weighing, we're just weighing the talent. But the talent fits what they're doing so well.
Yes.
That it's you can't even judge the talent without the scheme that they're in. And it's a scheme that fits so well for them. So they're at 4.
They all collectively mesh with the identity there.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, like this was the team that I was referring to earlier, where they're just missing that quarterback now.
Yeah.
Because, look, Tua's fine. But in that weapons room, if you have the dude at quarterback with those weapons, that's a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you put a Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen on that. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. All right, the top 3. Cincinnati's at number 3 here. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Arguably the best wide receiver room in the league. Tight end's fine. Leaves a little bit to be desired there. Joe Mixon's fine, but who knows if he's going to be on the field. He keeps beating people off the field. Unfortunately, that's just not a good human being off the field. So who knows if he's going to be able to stay on the field at back for them. When he is, though, he's a top 7 running back. And like I said, probably the best wide receiver room in the league.
I would say definitely in the AFC.
I mean, who else can be? Philly's close, but I think... Philly's close, but I think 1 and 2, they match up fine with Philly.
Yeah.
And I think they're better at the 3 with Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, in the AFC, they're number 1.
Yeah, easily. So they land at 3 here. Number 2, you guessed it, would be Philly. I like the pickup with DeAndre Swift a ton. I think he's a little overrated, but I think he's still a really, really high-end back. You get A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins.
Yeah.
I like their tight end room with Dallas Goedert. That's a really nice tight end. So that's a big reason for Jalen Hurts' success. A good way to measure is look at the quarterback. How much success has he had, right? Because outside of Patrick Mahomes, you can't do it with nobody. You just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Stafford last year. Came into the season healthy, but outside of Cooper Kupp, had nobody. The offensive line gets banged up. Next thing you know, we're like, is he washed? Right? Like Russell Wilson, for example, comes in, bad scheme. Their number 2 receiver gets hurt. Their running back gets hurt. Offensive line injuries. Is he the worst quarterback in the AFC? Right. So, looking at what they do to elevate the quarterback, Jalen Hurts was an MVP level quarterback with that weapons room. I mean, it's unbelievable. And they also complement each other well. A.J. Brown's a big possession receiver, yards after the catch, big body, strong hands. Devontae Smith, a little bit more speedy, route running prowess, right? They complement each other well, right? Yeah, they mesh well. San Francisco's number 1, though.
And this is really not debatable, right?
CMC, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. You could argue that is the number 1 player at each position. Now, Deebo, probably not. You could argue George Kittle is the number 1 tight end.
Yep.
You could argue CMC is the number 1 running back.
Yep.
Deebo Samuel, now, for what he does, is probably the best in the league at it, which is like a slash. Like end arounds, running backs, can run a dig route, will run between the tackles, tough, possession, has some speed to him. Right? One of the most, arguably the most versatile player in football.
Oh, you can use him for anything. He's the Swiss Army knife on that offense.
And then you throw in Brandon Ayuk as the number 2, and that's a really, really well-rounded room. Again, Kyle Shanahan's system fits perfectly. It's really a special room. If they don't find a quarterback within the next year, this core is going to fall out of its prime, and it'd be the biggest waste of a prime maybe ever.
And it would be the most talented
core to never win a Super Bowl.
Yes, easily. By far.
It has to be. If Debo keeps up with the pace he's on, he's a Hall of Famer. George Kittle's probably already a Hall of Famer. Now, I know Trent Brown, the tackle, or Trent Williams. That's right, Trent Williams. I know he's not a weapon, but he's a left tackle. Probably one of the best of all time, at least of the last 20 years. He's going to be out of his prime. You'll have CMC, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Like, you have 4 or 5 Hall of Famers on this offense.
Yeah.
You have to cash in.
You have to.
Let's go back to the list here. We got the Bills, the Jags, the Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, Seahawks, Dolphins, Bengals, Eagles, Niners, going 10 through 1 there. List is here. You can see it on your screen. Guys, let's get